So because I just come back from a big travel, and I've been doing a lot of strenuous work in the garden. So today is actually going to be more like a flow and restore type of practice. Um, so basically, when it comes to restorative yoga, what people usually do is just when you usually go to a vinyasa practice at the end, you wind down by taking some easier postures. And for restorative, you like in yoga, you stay there for longer and also providing as much as support as you can. So that's why I'm having two pillows here and even a blanket and blocks. So basically whatever you can find that you can think of in your home that you can use, I would say gather them around your mat. Sometime when life gets too busy, I find this is actually much more beneficial than vinyasa. So we'll flow, of course, to flow fast a little bit, just to get it out of our system. Then we'll slow down. Then we start getting into the restorative postures. Look, someone is already restoring. She just ate. I don't know how she managed to just from 30 seconds from eating, then just go straight to napping. Anyway, yeah, once you gathered all those props and come into a comfortable seat, can be cross-leg, can be hero pose. You can also lie down. There's really no specific agenda for like we have to get to a certain peak pose today. So choose whatever that makes sense to you today. Just rest your hand somewhere that's not distracting. Relax the shoulders. And of course, you can sneak in some shoulder rolls here if that helps to relax them. And just to cast your gaze down on the ground. And if it works for you, you can let your eyelids get heavy and eventually close eyes. For some of you, closing the eyes might get your mind a little bit more still, but for others, it might cause other kind of things like anxiety or all kinds of thoughts rushing to you because you have finally a quiet moment for those thoughts. But either way, for now, just to focus on the sound of the breath. You can start making some Ujjayi breath quality to make your breath audible so you can stay close to your breath. You can choose to stay here and seated or lying on your back in this meditation with Ujjayi breath. But if you like to proceed to alternate nostril breathing with me, twist your right hand and release the ring finger, the pinky, and the right thumb into Vishnu Mudra. And bring the right big thumb to the right nostril, gently press on it. So give it a close. And inhale, breathe into the left. Close the left with your ring finger and release the right all the way out. Smooth inhale through the right. Close the right. And release through the left. So that's one round. We'll do a couple more rounds together. before I send you on your own. So if your arm does not like hang, then you can bring a block between your right thigh and your right arm. Especially considering we want our practice to be more restorative today. Inhale through the left. Close the left. Release through the right. Breathe in through the right. Release through the left. Inhale through the left. And exhale, smoothly let it out through the right. Inhale to the right. And exhale to the left. Continue on your own for a couple more rounds. If this does not work for you, you can always come back to Ujjayi for whatever reason, and one of your nostrils might be congested, or you simply do not like the feeling of your thumbs pressing the nostril. You can just release your hands down and imagining that you're closing one of the nostrils alternatively. By breaking our breath in out of the most natural routine, hopefully this can bring our attention a little bit closer to them. And after this round, finish one more round. And then come back to your natural breath. And as I suggested, today will be a flow and restorative. But of course, if you feel like you have a lot of energy to burn through the practice, feel free to make any modification. But before you make those modifications, I ask you to think about what you want to do and why you want to do those postures. And when you're ready, gather hands in front of the heart and cast your gaze down again onto the ground if it's not there anymore. And slowly blink open the eyes. And come onto all fours into a table. Take your time to spread a blanket across the mat, especially if you have sensitive knees and a thin mat. If you do not have a mat nearby, you still like some padding, you can fold your mat halfway in. That should give some nice cushion. And inhale, pull the chest forward and lift your tailbone up. Next, exhale, round your upper back into a cat. And move in between like that. can also add any other kind of movement you like to. And we'll do something a little bit different today by coming down to your elbows. So we're still in table, but on our elbows, so your elbows right underneath your shoulders. And you can continue some rounds of cow and cat in this, which is going to be a little bit more limited. That might give you some new perspectives. And even move some of the muscles that you don't usually get to move during the posture practice. Then extend one leg or both, move them away, move them to behind your thigh bones. And so you're in a supported forearm plank. And of course, this is where you can stay. If you want to be curious, you can extend one leg straight or even both, come into a full forearm plank. Keep hugging your elbows into each other and keep your chest open. And then rock back and forth, move your chest above your elbows and press your heels toward the back. We'll do it a couple of times more. And then release your pelvis down. Pull your chest forward and pull your elbows towards you into a Sphinx pose. So this opposite force, your chest is going forward and your elbows going toward the back. Long breath in. Next, lift your knees up. We'll all come into a forearm plank. You can clasp your hands in this, and then start walk your feet close to you into a dolphin. Of course, you can move the blanket out of your way and pike the tailbones up. And just like in downward facing dog, I know we haven't done downward facing dog today yet, but based on your memory, pressing into the forearms down into the ground, and in the meantime, lift your tailbones up. Keep your legs as bent as you need. Then start slowly work towards moving your heels towards the ground. And then next, release the knees down, bring the arms behind you, and come into a child pose. I know that I said this is supposed to be a restorative class, but before that, we'll flow. And give your shoulders some nice gentle roll. At any moment, one of this flow is taking too much energy away from you and making your minds getting messy, step it down a little bit, or even come straight down into a child pose. And once you're ready, bring your hands forward and tuck your toes and press yourself into a downward facing dog. I hope this downward facing dog feels a little bit easier after the dolphin pose. Pressing evenly into the palms. Spread the weight evenly across the fingertips, the corners of the palms. And imagine that the energy is sending all the way from the palms to the tailbones into the sky. Then step your left foot forward next to your left arm and release your right knee down. And of course, you can add the padding of the blanket back. We're going to be here actually for a while. And find the blocks if you have them. Actually, let me turn around so you can see me better. First of all, we'll come into a classic low lunge. Raise up the arms by the ears and press the pelvis down. So your right thigh bone is getting lengthened and the front right quad is getting stretched. Hugging both thigh bones into the midline. And exhale, lengthen the left leg, straighten the left leg. Pull the left toes towards you, just a quick half split before we move. Then bend back into a low lunge again. Spin your right shin to the side and walk the blocks to the right side of you. So your left knee is pointing toward the front and your right knee is pointing to the right side of you. And use your left hand, gently press the left thigh bone to open and open the chest up. And let the left leg remember the position of it right now and climb your arms up and open the arms into a T into supported warrior two. Keep opening the left knee and twisting your chest, your rib cage to the right side. And exhale, reverse. Right hand to the right leg and left arm by the left ear. And bring the right hand down and extend your left leg long into a supported side plank option to lift up your left leg. And we'll flow like that for 3 times. Inhale, come back up, bend your left knee, open the left knee to the left side, open the arms. Exhale, left arm inside of a left leg, right arm up, pressing the left thigh bone into the left arm bone. And now come back up, warrior two. Exhale, reverse, and into a supported side plank. Inhale, come back up. And exhale, supported side angle. Right arm by the right ear. Let the right side body grow. And come all the way up. And exhale. Do it slowly. So you pay attention to each single joint moment. Next time when you're into a supported warrior, bring the hands on the blocks and then walk yourself back to the front. And step your left foot to the back into a table. You can also move your knees back into a knee plank. Come down to your elbows into a forearm plank again. Option to tuck the toes and come into a forearm plank. Then release your pelvis down. We'll meet in Sphinx pose before we start next side. Bring the hands by the chest and lift your tailbones up into a downward facing dog. Stay where you are and I'll just switch side. From downward facing dog, step your right foot to the right thumb and release your left knee down. Find the blocks one more time. Get your foundation stable first. Then option to climb the hands onto the right thigh or raise up the arms as they use for a classic low lunge. And then release your hands on the blocks and straighten the right leg. Pull the right toes towards you. Press the back of the right leg into the ground. And exhale, come back into a low lunge and spin your left shin to the side and walk the blocks to the side. Use your right hand, gently press your right thigh bone open and turn your chest up. So imagine your right thigh still trying to close towards the direction of the left thigh, just like when we were in a low lunge, but your right hand is creating that resistance. And bring the right hand inside of the right leg. It can be on a block, depends on your arm length. Bring your left arm up. Right arm pressing against the right thigh bone. Option to stay here, option to bring the left arm by the left ear. And keep where your right knee is and rise all the way up into a warrior two. Take a moment to establish the stance here with the bent legs, because we're gonna flow in between. Sometimes we lose that stance when we are rushing through the postures, but this is where we want to come back all the time. And release your left hand down, right arm by the right ear, straighten the right leg into a supported side plank. Option 2, lift up your right leg. Engage every muscle on that right leg and keep it floating if you decide to let it float. Inhale, come back up into supported warrior 2. Rebend the right leg. And exhale, right hand inside of right foot, left hand up or by the left ear. We'll flow that 3 more times. Inhale, come up. Exhale, supported side plank. Right arm by the right ear. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, cartwheel your right hand down, left hand up. We all meet in supported warrior 2. And rest your hands on the blocks. And then walk them to the front. And step your right foot to the back. And come down to your elbows. And bring the knees behind the thigh bones. An option to lift your knees up into a forearm plank. Keep your chest open. Keep your elbows pressing towards each other. Next, release your pelvis down into Sphinx. And bring the hands by the chest and press the tailbones up into downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, step by step, hop forward. Into Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. And exhale, fold over the legs. Let's do it one more time. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Straighten the legs. Hands on the shin or on the blocks. And exhale, fold over the legs. Raise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Tadasana. Hands at heart center or by the side. We'll move through some rounds of Surya Namaskar A today. If you have any other kind of salute that you'd like to go with, please go for it. Otherwise, inhale, arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold over the legs, Uttanasana. Inhale, hands on the shin or laying on the blocks, lengthen to the spine. Exhale, step left and right into a high plank. You can always release the knees down if this is not good for your wrist. Take a long inhale. And exhale, bend through the elbows and release all the way down to your belly. Inhale, lift the chest up, hugging the elbows into Bhujangasana. You can also extend both arms into Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog. And exhale, lift your tailbones up, downward facing dog. So any posture in this flow is replaceable. You can come down into child pose, the upward facing dog. You can just come into a cow pose. Make this, we call it flow and restore. So the restoration is this direction we want to go to. If you get to the destination earlier than us, there's nothing wrong with that. So make your flow as restorative as possible. If that means you have to come down closer to the ground or getting more support. On the exhale, step by step, a hop forward. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold over the legs. Rise all the way up. Exhale, hand to heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold over. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. And exhale, just for the sake of evening things out, step right and left into a high plank. And exhale, bend to the elbows. You can all the way down, come into the belly. You can also halfway, then pull your chest forward into upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Pressing into the palms. Press the chest toward the thigh bones. And turn your bicep toward the front. And gently release the heels toward the ground. On the next exhale, step by step, a hop forward. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. And exhale, fold over the legs. Rise all the way up. And hand through heart center. I'll demo one more round. Just just one more variation, but you can go ahead if you got the gist of Surya Namaskar. Inhale, arms up. Now exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. And exhale, fold. If you're so tired of choosing left and right to step back, you can jump directly back into a Chaturanga Dandasana. But make sure your elbows is bent so you don't hurt your shoulders. Making sure your elbows is bent and keep plugging your elbows in. Then you are pull your chest forward during the jump. Exhale, we'll all meet in downward facing dog. Just let the breath coming in and go. Just like the practice is always cycle flow and restore. And the bottom of the next exhale, step by step, a hop forward. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold over the legs. Raise all the way up. Exhale, hand to heart center. 2 more rounds on your own with whatever salute that you decide to go with. We all meet in downward facing dog. So that means you might have to take a half a salute to arrive there after 2 rounds. If you can, try to not skip the pause moment in the downward facing dog or in the child pose or other kind of shape that you choose to go with. Use that as a point to realign with your practice. If you're still flowing, take your time. If you arrived in downward facing dog and it's just getting too much for you to stay there, you can come down into a child pose. If you're in child pose, come up into downward facing dog. And lift your right leg up and step your right foot to the right thumb. Spin down your left heel. Bring your right hand inside of the right foot. You might need a block underneath the right hand. You make your judgment. And press your right knee into the right arm and left arm up into a side angle. Option to bring the left arm by the left ear. So there's nothing fancy about our second round of movement. It'll be just a build based on what we just did earlier before the sun salute. Keep hugging your right knee into the right arm, but also keep it open to the right side. Imagine sending energy all the way to the pinky of the left foot. And rise all the way up. Keep your right leg where it is, into a warrior two. And exhale, reverse your warrior, left hand on the left leg, right arm by the right ear. And I'll come back up into a warrior two. And exhale, right hand down into a side angle. You can also move your right hand to the right upper corner with or without a block. And float your left arm up into a half moon. If you decide to come into a half moon, press your left heel into the wall behind you and lift the whole left leg up. Standing strong through the right leg and hugging your right outer hip in. And then come down into a side angle. And of course, you can stay through the side angle this whole time. We'll flow like that, rise up into warrior two. Reverse. Back to warrior two. Side angle or half moon, you choose. But we'll all meet in side angle as starting point of the next cycle. Last time like that. Then step your left foot down. Just keep your legs really bend and come into a high squat. You can come into a low squat. So whatever you need to do to release the tension from the back of the right leg. And also just to shimmy your hips side to side if that helps. Our right outer hip has been doing a lot of hugging in. So you might feel a lot of tension over there right now. And then step your left and right into downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, lift up your left leg and step your left foot to the left arm, spin down your right heel. We'll do the first round slowly. Bring the left hand inside your left foot. Right arm up into a side angle, pressing the left knee into the left arm bone. Option to bring the right arm by the right ear. And pressing firmly through the pinky edge of the right foot. Inhale, cartwheel up into warrior two. Keep your left leg bent, reaching far through the fingertips. And exhale, side bend to the right, left arm by the left ear. Inhale, rise back up. Exhale, reach your left hand forward. Decide to come into a side angle. You can also reach your left hand really far. And then float up your right leg into a half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. If you decide to come into half moon, hug your left outer hip in. And press the side of the right leg up toward the sky. Imagine that you're stomping the right heel onto the wall. We'll all meet back in side angle. And flow like that. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, reverse. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, side angle or half moon. And use side angle as starting point. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, reverse warrior. Move with the pace of your breath instead of my cue. Last time. Regardless if you're in a side angle or half moon, we'll all meet in the front of the mat, step your foot together and fold over the legs. Come into various kinds of bend squat to release the tension from the back of the left leg. And we'll do one more thing before we come into restorative practice. Step your feet back into a high plank and come down to the elbows. And clasp the hands one more time. Then start walk the feet close to you and spike the tailbones up into dolphin. Option to stay here, option to lift your left leg up. And of course, if your body is calling for forearm stand, go for it, especially if you have a wall to support you in front of you. And release your left foot down, and we'll switch side. Lift your right leg up, keep pointing the right toes down. And release it down, with the knees down, come into child pose. This child pose can be where you stay for your restorative practice. You can also start gathering your props. Bring them as close to you as possible. And first of all, let's all come into supported bridge pose. Come lie down on the back. You can just one block, medium height, start with, or low height, lowest height, and rest your tailbone on top of it. And if you like to, you can add another block. You can stack them on top of each other with the lowest height. And simply let it be. Let the back of the legs relax with the minimum efforts in this bridge pose. If you're there's some thoughts in your head asking you to rush out of this, take some long, deep breath in. And exhale, let everything slowly, smoothly out. And for the rest of the shapes, if any one of them that makes you want to stay, feel free to stay. As long as it feels restorative to your body, to your mind. Slightly lift your tailbones up and remove the blocks. Bring the feet as wide as the mat and knock the knees together. And windshield wiper your knees side to side. For a brief moment before we get to the next restorative shape. And we'll come into supported side bend on the ground. So to start with, gather some pillows and blankets. Blocks works too, but because it's hard surface, so sometimes it does not feel as supportive as a pillow. So you can, if your pillow is low, you can stack two together. And stack a blanket or another pillow in front of it. Then rest your right sideways onto the stacked pillow. And then rest your head on the second stacked pillow or blanket. So there's opening happening in your right side body, but with a lot of support. And a gentle stretch of your left side body as well. So kind of like when you sleep, but with a little bit softer things underneath you. And if you want to make this even more restorative, you can also bring another blanket or pillow in between your knees, assuming you have tons of pillows at home. Give your body a chance to slow down. And with the connection between the body and mind, oftentimes that will bring our mind along with it as well. If you find difficulty in that, knowing this is perfectly okay and normal, because we've been trained to just move fast, be productive, be more productive. All the time. As I was explaining before, there's no rush to get out of this. You probably come to the class with the expectation that you'll be here for 75 minutes. And that hasn't changed. You're welcome to stay on this side. If you're ready to move towards the next side, use your hands, carefully support yourself up. And just bring the props to the other side. And rest your left side body on top of the first stack of pillows. And rest your head on the second stack of pillows or blankets. If you like to, you can add another blanket or pillow in between your knees. Add some softness over there. If your body is inviting you to soften your gaze or close your eyes, just follow it. And then the other side, if you notice there's some thoughts rising up, rushing you out of this shape, simply focus more on breath. You can make it longer, you can add some counting. So those thoughts don't get all of your attention. And of course, you're welcome to stay on this side as well. If you're ready to move into the next shape, support yourself to come up. We'll rearrange the props. Use 1 or 2 blocks. For the next one, it'd be great if you are near a wall. And just bring your tailbones close to the pillows. You can even move it up onto the pillows. Then come down onto your back. And extend your legs up with a minimum effort. So you can keep some micro bend. That's why I was saying if you're near a wall, then that's perfect. Then you can rest your legs on the wall. Simply let your arms rest somewhere. Even if your body tensed up a little bit when during the way to this shape, breathing into those physical body part of you and helping them to relax. And you can stay in this waterfall pose, especially if your legs are on the walls. You can also rest them down and slightly move your hips to the right side. And bring the knees to the left side. Open your right arm to the right side. And since your props is available now, you can add a blanket or a pillow in between your knees. And rest your left hand on top of the right knee. And when you're ready, switch to the other side. Gently bring your knees to the center. And shift your hips to the left side. And drop your knees to the right side. Extend your left arm out. And rest your right hand on top of left knee. I know sometimes in a supine twist like this, we do our best to give a nice long stretch, but they just keep minimum efforts in the supine twist. So nothing is doing much work. Just let it be. Feel ready to come out. Roll back to the center. You can spread the limbs out and just stay there for Shavasana. You can also roll onto one side and come up into a comfortable seat for another seated meditation. For this round, will be a little bit more guidance. We're actually going to do a body scanning meditation. But feel free to stay in Shavasana on your back. If you decide to come up into a seated meditation, take your time to arrive. And just rest your hand somewhere that's comfortable with ease. We'll start with reaching the crown of the head toward the sky. And use that as a starting point to move down to the left ear. Imagine all of your attention are on the left ear right now. And appreciate it for all the information it's been taking it in for you. Then move down to the left shoulder, which is not always the best part of our body. It may get tensed up a lot these days, especially because of our job nature. It's doing the best it can. You can even add some shoulder rolls just for left shoulder here. Then shift your attention down to the left elbow. And all the way to the left hand. To the magical fingers that allows you to finish so many physical tasks on your daily life. And bring all the way back up to the left chest, behind which where your heart lives. If you listen carefully, you might even be able to hear the beat of that heart. And lower all the way down along the spine to our low back. Another body part that might give you all kind of issues these days. Again, because of our job nature. And promise that you will give it as much attention as you can in the future and as much as care as you can. And then extend it to the left thigh, to the left knee. And let it all go all the way down to the left foot. The toes, the sole. The support you goes to the destination that you want to go to. Along the back of the left leg, bring that attention all the way back to the pelvis area. The heaviest bone of our body that helps to anchor us. Every single moment when we're not lying down. And then move the attention along the right thigh bone to the right knee. Think about the cracks you get all the time when you bend them. And all the way down to the right foot. You can even wiggle the right toes a little bit. There's actually a Chinese, I believe in Chinese medicine that you can find a map of every single part of your body in the bottom of your foot. It's always underneath us. You never pay much attention to the bottom of the feet, but it contains almost the whole universe of our physical body. And bring the attention all the way back up to your low back again. Imagine there's a hand gently brushing against your back all the way through your low back, your mid back, the space between your shoulder blades, and arriving at the back of your neck. And then to the right shoulder, And give some nice roll in the side as well. And all the way to the right elbow, right hand, right fingertips. And rise up to the right ear. Slowly, gradually. It's still serving the function of taking information for you at this very moment, taking my cues into your brain. And come back all the way up to the crown of the head. And we'll finish today's practice with 3 rounds of long breath together. Inhale, raise up the arms by the ears. And exhale, release arms by the side. Inhale up. And exhale, release arms down. Gently, nice here, rest somewhere. Last round together. And exhale, hand to heart center and bow your head toward the heart. When you're ready, slowly blink open the eyes. Thank you so much for practicing with me tonight, and I hope you feel a bit more relaxed and restored. And next week's class will be special for API month. So I know I've been weaving some yoga philosophy and history into my teaching, but next week it'll be a little bit even more. So bring a friend, bring a family, or whoever you like to bring with. I'll see you next Thursday.